Welcome to the fish tank.
Hey everybody, Fishman here. Welcome to another video. Another video with a buzz in the background because it is still very hot here. Apparently we've had 11 straight days now where every day it's been above 30 degrees. And apparently tomorrow we are going to be setting a record. They're calling for 35 degrees, which for those of you who are not familiar with the Celsius system, that is 2 degrees below body temperature. And if you want to compare that to what it would be like in a drier climate, with the humidex, because it's always very humid here too, it is the same as if it were 45 or 46 degrees. So that's going to be quite interesting. So anyway, enough about the weather. What I'm doing here, as you can see, is this is the island. This is the planter that's going to sit in the center of the desktop, and it is cured now. And I'm going to turn down the base of this so that it matches up with the round cylinder part. And as it goes by, I mean, there's going to be slower parts where you'll see the tube slow down, and I'll be just turning it by hand. Watch, and you'll see the refraction as it changes, and you'll see how out of round 6-inch diameter acrylic extruded tube is. Now, I'm showing you a fair amount of this today because I normally leave it off, because I want to show you more of the processes of machining acrylic. I don't think most of you really want to get into it yourself, but you might find it interesting. These large diameters, my lathe isn't really set up to handle something that's, well, when it's turned down to 6 inches is perfectly fine. But when the edges, when you get around to the full diameter of this, it's closer to 7, and it is at the extreme outside of what my lathe can handle for maneuverability. Not for, you know, the strength of it or anything, but for the fact that I can't really move the slide back far enough for it to be, well, so I can turn without having it bump into something. And you're going to see, I'm going to speed this part up now, and I do a lot of adjusting here, changing the bit distance, trying to get everything properly set up until I can get it turned down to at least 6 1/4 inches is where I'm really comfortable. And then, of course, it's easier to turn down from there. So you're going to see this, this is all going to be sped up. And you'll see I'll adjust it for a little bit, then turn it off, change the bit a little bit, and then fiddle with it some more until I finally get it so the thing I'm turning, the island, is going to clear everything except the bit, of course. So that's the only part that I want to have obviously touching this, because if it rubs up against anything else like the slide or the base or whatever, it's going to end up marring the acrylic. Or, worst case scenario, is if I put enough torque on this, because, I mean, this is a metal lathe. It's designed to, if this piece were steel, it's designed to still turn and obviously not slow down and cut. So acrylic, if with that amount of force on it, it'll just shatter, and of course I'd have to redo this whole thing, and I really don't want to, because, you know, that would be, first off, a big waste, and also a lot more time taken. So now I'm back down to normal speed. We're past the critical part now. This is where it starts getting easy. Initially, when I'm turning this, I'm hitting, and then it misses. It skips, because it's like, if you remember the octagonal shape to this originally. So it starts just by cutting the points, and then as the points get worn down, the bit is more consistently touching the acrylic until finally I get down to the diameter, and then it's touching all the time, and then that's when it really gets easy to turn down. So we're almost there now. You can see there's still a couple flat edges, and it's, like I said, it's just something I wanted to show you guys. So I've sped this up again just because, you know, it is very repetitive. But watch at the top of the piece of acrylic as it turns there. You can see how it deflects. You get that little bob up and down. That is the difference in consistency of diameter between well, what the acrylic should be and what it actually is. So this won't actually ever turn out to be completely round. Well, the bottom piece of that I'm machining will be round, but where it attaches onto like the cylinder, there'll be a little bit of part where I'll machine down inside the diameter of it, and a part of it where it'll still stick out a little bit. But as I get closer, it'll become less noticeable. And then, of course, when it's sitting in the tank itself, it really won't matter at all. So we're back down to normal speed here again, and you can see as I turn it also, you'll see the change in refraction on the acrylic tube. That is shows you the inconsistency of the thickness of it, because that's what that is. That's just showing you or parts where more light goes through, and then of course obviously less light, and because it's a bit wavy, it refracts the light a little differently. So hey, enough about all that. So this has actually turned out really quite well, even though I'm pointing out all the flaws to it. It is actually going to look really, really nice once this is set up, because all those things you just don't notice them when it's finally done. And then there's a couple more little pieces I want to take off, and these passes now are getting down to the thousandth of an inch, because first off, when I first start doing this, I take almost 1/100th of an inch off on a pass, because that's pretty much the limit I can do without putting too much strain on the weld. But at this point, what I'm trying to do is, you can see very, very little materials coming off. What I'm trying to do now is smooth out the finish, so the less I take off, the less chance there is of heating up the acrylic, so I get a nice smooth, well, it won't be a mirror finish, because that will require polishing, but it will look a lot nicer. So we're almost there now. I think the only thing I have left to do with this is to change the bit over and put a bevel on the end, just so, well, there's no real reason for it other than the fact that I think it looks a little nicer. And of course, when I go to clean this and whatnot, there's less likelihood I'll cut my finger, because believe it or not, I cut my hands on acrylic way more often than glass. I can actually count the number of times I've cut myself on a piece of glass, probably, well, on one hand, but on acrylic, because I guess I don't respect it as much, it happens a lot more often. So there you go, this is done, and it didn't break, which is, I'm very grateful for that. And you can see this is how tight that ring is, and that's how tight it has to be, because otherwise, like I said, as I put pressure on it in the chuck, it could end up cracking, and I don't want to do that. So you can see this near the top, you can see this slightly larger than diameter. But again, once this is sitting in properly in place and stuff's in it, none of that will be noticeable. So I've also, off camera, I machined the fittings. There are two that are going to fit into these, and then there's going to be a larger diameter spacer, and then two more are going to fit into the island, and that makes it slightly adjustable. And one of the things I did here, I'm going to show you in a second, is I machined the ones that are going to fit in the top island part with a bit of a bevel on them, so that when it's in place, it'll have a little bit of a catch, so it'll sit in there and it'll hold it in place. But one of the things, which I said so many times I'm probably getting tired of it, acrylic tubing is not consistently the same diameter. This particular piece of acrylic tubing I have here is actually exactly 1 inch in diameter, and this is a 1 inch hole. It doesn't want to go together, and I don't want it that tight, so I'm going to skip over here for a second. And what I've done now is I've just machined its, like I take it to the lathe, take a little bit off, fiddle with the diameter, so I have a step system now where it'll go through fairly easily at the beginning, and then it gets progressively tighter, and this now will obviously fit in where I want it to, and it will fit into the divide, like the spacers that are going to fit underneath it. So this is actually not where they're going to end up in the end, but you can see there's a little bit of a catch there. And then watch this as well. This is kind of interesting too, because again it re-illustrates this. This side fits. This side doesn't. This is the same piece of acrylic. I cut it. I mean, all these were cut off the same one. This side fits. Oh, sorry. This side fits. and the other side doesn't. It's just the way it is. There's just no way around it. So when I went to put, these are the risers for the underground filter part. So when I went to put these on, I had the exact same issues. But this I want to be as tight as possible. So what I did is, instead of machining them down so it'll be a little easier to fit in, I took it to my vise and I pressure fitted them, so they're not coming out at all. And then this fits on top. Now the middle risers, which are a 1/4 inch greater in diameter, so they fit inside, they're my adjusters, so I'll be able to change this for level as things go on. But anyway, that's the filtration system. Top and bottom now. I hope I didn't bore you guys too much for that. I'm going to show you this all together here shortly. And as always, if you like this style of video, please like and or subscribe. I really do appreciate all that. And leave always, of course, lots of comments. And I will try and get to all that. Any ideas you guys have also for future builds, let me know about those too. So here's the filter system all together, and I'm going to show you the rest of it. I did off camera, and I'm going to show you the final product. And then the next video for this, I'll have it up and running, decorated, and it'll probably just part of another video. So there you go. This is the desktop. I think it turned out pretty good. It's going to be interesting as far as when it matures, but I need to find specific pieces of wood, choose types of plants, and a bunch of other stuff to make this look really, really nice. So that's going to be a work in progress, but there'll be lots of updates for that. Most likely on Sunday when I do fish room updates. And also, that reminds me, on Sunday, thank you very much for all your interest in for the draw. I will be doing that on Sunday and let the winner know who they are at the end of the video. So again, thank you very much for watching. I will see you in the next video, and bye for now.